I'm a mover. I can't stand behind these podiums. Thank you for having me here tonight. You know, I really do want to thank you. You guys are the backbone of the Republican Party. And I know candidates like myself appreciate you being here and giving us a chance to come up here and speak to you. The first thing I want to do is I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, what is your tipping point? Where do you draw that line when you've had enough? What do you do when your state, your local, your federal government has pushed you to that point? Well, I suggest tonight that you fight. You fight to take back what's yours. Your rights, your freedom, your money, our future. I've been fighting a long time, and I know you probably have fought to get where you are too. At an early age, my dad was diagnosed with mental illness, severe mental illness. And my mom became the breadwinner and the caretaker. And I fought to, get rid of that stigma that comes with mental illness. And I fought to get college scholarships to be the first in my family that got a 4-year degree. And I fight today. I fight for new jobs right here in this district. I fight our government's regulations, red tape, and mandates. And if you send me to Washington, I'll fight for the district, and I'll fight what's right for our district. You know, for too long, politicians have cared more about themselves and their special interests than they've cared about us. You know, they've trampled on our Constitution, and they've lost sight of our common fiscal conservatism that made this USA one of the best countries that there is. If you send me to Washington, I will care about the things you care about. I will care about a smaller government, more rights to our states, more freedoms, more opportunities, and less taxes on everyone. I will fight to defund or repeal the Obamacare and replace it with something that works and that actually reduces costs and keeps the freedom and personal responsibility right where it should be. I will fight to create jobs. I don't just talk about job creation. I actually go out and do it. And I have since I've been 29. I started my first business at 29, and I haven't looked back since. In fact, my husband and I today have 1,500 employees right here in this district. They live and work from Kent to Meriden, Farmington Valley to Watertown. I care about creating jobs, and I will take that to Washington. I also care about a balanced budget. You and I have to make sure our checkbooks balance. Why do we let our government get away with less? I also care about our education system. It's what made me successful. And you know, we need an overhaul at the federal level. We need more flexibility at the state level so we can have a workforce that's going to compete, a strong workforce, an educated workforce that can compete with China and India. I've been here almost 5 decades, lived right in this district, grew up here. My husband and I have raised 7 children. Most of them are off to college, and we even have one working. And you know, I care about this community. I created jobs here because I care about the people. I started out at age 18 and became a physical therapist because I cared about helping people. And you know, that simple objective is what makes me run for Congress today. I want to help people. I care about this community. And you know, we've been growing all these jobs and raising our kids, and I look over and I see government and I go, wow, they're growing too. But you know what? Big things aren't always successful. I think our government has failed our communities. It's failed our children by putting tons of debt, $14 trillion of debt on their shoulders. It's failed our families with a horrible economy, gas prices that are going through the roof, and unemployment rates that are higher than they've been in years, decades. And it's failed our small businesses and our entrepreneurs. It's put the mandates and over-taxation, over-regulation, so it's hard to create a job nowadays. So if you, like me, have had enough, have reached your tipping point or your boiling point, I ask you to join me on this campaign for Congress. I want to bring back the common sense fiscal policies that we're known for. And you know, I want our children and our grandchildren to be able to have their vision and their version of our American dream. So I want to thank you for having me here tonight. I look forward to many months on this trail. I'll be back. If you would love to join me, I have Chris Sierick here. I'd love to take your name and stay in touch with you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate all your time, and if you want to ask some questions, or not.
No, it's okay.
Any questions? Sure.
How often are you doing your phone-a-thon? I was on you had one the other night.
I did. How often?
Very, very effective. Because it brings you where people aren't intimidated by they can do it on their terms.
Yeah.
So,
Good questions. People had really good questions that night.
It was extremely effective. I was just going to say, I don't see many candidates doing it as often, and I thought something that if you could put that out to the common folk, I think
Yeah.
they'd get more involved with it.
I wanted to do one on gas. I bet everyone would, want to talk about the gas stations in their towns and how much they've gone up. Because that's such a huge issue I found over the past month. But thank you for that. I did a tele-town hall, and people called in. We had calls from lots of towns all over the district, and we had about 200 people on the phone, so it was really nice. Thank you. Any other questions?